Welcome everybody to our second live webinar for a healthy weight loss and lifestyle challenge. I'm really excited that you're here with us. And this is a topic that actually the Inner Circle VIPs decided to vote on as the topic they were most interested in learning more about when it comes to healthy weight loss. The topic is stress management, tips to thrive in a busy world. And it's real important as we learn about stress because, of course, we actually all deal with stress. That's just part of life. It's real important for us to learn how we can manage it, but also the impact it has on us so we're motivated to take actions to take better care of ourselves. I'll be sharing lots of ideas and tips that I think you'll really enjoy, things that are very practical. My goal is to do this in 15 minutes or less to keep it brief. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. You do have in the files section of the Outer Circle page a worksheet with blanks to fill in so you can take notes and not too much writing. I've done about 95% of the note taking for you. Remember that we are doing a little special incentive where when you turn in 3 of your worksheets from these live webinars filled out to whoever your coach is, you will get a little goodie bag, some surprises. So really looking forward to getting those in from you. All right, so stress, understanding the body's response and effects. When we're talking about stress, the reason it's valid and important for weight loss is because basically it really does impact on our ability to lose weight. It's something that can really hamper our goals and prevent our body from releasing fat and inflammation. So it's a really important topic, especially in the context of healthy weight loss. So stress, do you suffer from fatigue, mood swings, muscle tension, headaches, high stress levels, cravings for sweets, aches and pains? Stress is the most widespread medical problem in America today. It's a contributing factor in 100% of disease. Isn't that wild? No one is immune. That's a quote from Dr. Alfred Cooley. This is a definite reaction in the body as a result of the thoughts and concerns of the mind. So we're really talking about the mind-body connection. What the mind harbors, the body manifests in some ways. 90% of our confrontations in life are with imaginary predators. Only about 10% of the things we worry about actually come to pass. So we stew in our own juice. 60% of our working and playing hours are spent under stress. And under adverse conditions, this raises to 80 to 90%. So how does stress affect our body? Well, without thinking, we react to a stressful situation with a surge of bodily resources. Into our blood flashes adrenal secretions that muster strength from sugars and stored fat, stimulating our pulse and respiration, increasing our blood pressure. Our digestive process turns off at once, and the protective lining of the stomach starts to dissolve as all the blood rushes to your extremities. Our coagulation chemistry prepares to resist wounds with quick clotting. Our natural immune system is less active, and our resistance levels are lowered. In other words, we become more vulnerable to disease. When our fears and worries turn into anxiety, we suffer distress, and the distress activates the endocrine system in our body, and the production of hormones and antibodies actually changes. Then there's the aging factor. We overspend in our, quote, stress savings account, unquote, and we steal vital nutrients from the body. Our body under stress, well, the stomach and digestive system shut down, leaving food to pass through the system only partly digested. This is really important. Then adrenal system destroys vitamins B, C, and zinc, which are essential for the brain and the nervous system. Did you have any idea? Isn't this kind of wild? So what are some symptoms when we're suffering from stress? Well, anxiety, irritability, general nervousness appear. High levels of sugar in the blood can place such a burden on the pancreas that it finally collapses, resulting in diabetes. There's the stress-diabetes correlation. Vitamin C is a vital component of white blood cells. It's a potent virucide. In other words, it fights viruses. Decrease in vitamin C results in our body's lower resistance to virus and bacterial infections. Our digestive system under stress, well, the mucus lining of the stomach starts to dissolve. Our body can lose weight, or sometimes it can hang on to all the fat and inflammation in a famine response. Stress response leads to 2 problems, diarrhea or constipation. Digestive membranes, they become so fragile that inflammatory bowel diseases can occur. Stress and tension result in tense muscles, which complete a feedback loop and further stimulate the mind, resulting in greater stress states. So Chronically tense muscles result in numerous psychosomatic disorders: headaches, backaches, spasms of the esophagus and colon. I've actually spoken with people who have had colon spasms, and they're horrible. Asthma, tightness in the throat chest cavity, some eye problems, muscle tears and pulls. Again, these can all be caused by chronically tense muscles. So what do we do? Well, the good news is there's my top 10 positive ways to cope with stress, and I'm sure you have a few more. Number one, we need to identify what is stressful. If we can't identify anything, or if we're not willing to really think about it and specifically pinpoint it, we're going to be much less able to deal with it successfully. Talking with someone important to us is really important. Whatever we keep bottled up inside is going to continue to affect us. So find someone who's important, who you trust, and who will listen. Sometimes we need to vent, and that's really, really helpful. Now, if you want to just vent and you don't want to ask for solutions or listen to advice, I highly recommend you let them know and just say, listen, I don't want advice. I just need to let this out. Or if you do ask for advice, be sure to consider it carefully. Planning ahead is a great way to reduce stress. Exercise, that's my favorite de-stressor. When I exercise, it's like a mood regulator. Tackling problems one by one, in other words, chunk it down bit by bit so that you can successfully create some improvement in your situation, and that will help you feel good. Develop possibility thinking. Now, this is really important. Possibility thinking is all about, well, what's the best thing that could happen? A lot of times we're focusing so much on what we're afraid of, we're not really thinking about the good things that could happen. And certainly, there's a lot of philosophy out there about what we focus on is what we receive, and I firmly believe in that. And boy, have I got some stories about that. So develop good possibility thinking, maybe endless possibilities. What are the good things that could happen for you? Eliminate negative self-talk. This is really huge because our biggest enemy is that little voice inside us if we're allowing it to speak to ourselves negatively. When we talk to ourselves negatively, we're kind of our own worst enemy. We really want to cultivate the ability to be our own best friend. That is enormous. Affirm ourselves every day. Affirmations are simply statements of what we would like to be experiencing or having or doing in the present tense as if they were already happening. In other words, I easily lose fat and gain muscle every day. I easily lose fat and gain muscle every day. That's an example of an affirmation. And even if it's not currently true the moment you say it, our body and our mind, our body can't tell the difference between between what we're imagining and what's actually happening. So if we say an affirmation like that 10 times a day and actually write it out, our brain and our body begin to believe it, and our body begins to respond. So affirmations are super powerful, great things to do for ourselves. Avoid food offenders like alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, caffeine, and sugar, and provide nutrients through supplementation. So what can we do to feel better? Smile and appreciate past successes. Check out the top 10 ways to cope. Now, I know that you probably have been taking some notes as we go throughout. Remember, this will be recorded, so you'll be able to go back and refer and fill in your notes if we're going a little fast. Have an exercise treat each day. Think of some kind of movement that you enjoy doing it, maybe just boogieing to your favorite song, taking a walk, but what a great way to think about it. Maybe a little yoga. Select cell-building friendly foods. Start off the day with a solid breakfast, breaking your fast to avoid blood sugar bouncing. Begin a common sense nutrition supplementation program designed for your needs. So some foods for thought. Avoid refined carbohydrates, red meat, sugar, altered fats, and over-processed foods. We want to really stop feeding our bodies the bad stuff, and we want to feed our bodies more of the good stuff. Fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, whole grains, pure water, fresh poultry, fish, of course. Fish, ideally, always wild caught, not farm-raised. Lots of toxins, sadly, in farm-raised fish. Here's one example of some ideas that might be helpful. Fats and oils sparingly. It's so interesting. The food pyramid has changed over and over again. Right now, what I'm a big believer is veggies, lean protein, and carbs like sweet potatoes, whole grains are just wonderful, wonderful things to really treat ourselves to. So what is blood sugar bouncing? Our blood sugar rises too high and drops too low when we eat diets high in caffeine, sugar, and refined carbohydrates like processed foods. Think of white bread. That's a great example of a refined carbohydrate. Few of us consume enough protein first thing in the morning and throughout the day when we really need it for energy. What happens in every office in America at 10 a.m.? coffee break, right? Guess why? Their blood sugar is crashing. Now, as the day progresses, when our blood sugar is too low, we feel tired, irritable, we reach for coffee and sweets. We sometimes experience headaches, spaciness, mood swings. I don't know if you've experienced this, but I sure did in the past. If this hypoglycemic tendency continues too long, the result can be adult onset diabetes or type 2 diabetes. By consuming an adequate source of protein, nutrients, and fiber first thing in the morning, we start our day with energy, which continues all day long. What else can we do? Well, certain nutrients are used up by stress, like vitamin B, vitamin C. By adding these to our nutritional program, we can counteract many of the effects of stress on our body. Non-GMO, not genetically modified, cold water processed soy protein stabilizes the blood sugar levels, keeping energy levels up and builds healthy cells. Calcium and magnesium relaxes tight muscles. Some special herbal preparation, including valerian, some of them have a wonderfully relaxing effect on muscles and nerves. So to review, why should we supplement? Food today is not what it used to be. Our lifestyles make it difficult to eat well. Our diets fall short of the recommended standards. We all want more energy and relief from stress, and our health is suffering. So 3 factors that limit the body's ability to build cells, to regenerate so we can age well. Diet, toxins, and stress. Our diet must be rich in vitamins, minerals, and protein. Remember, food is our fuel so we can build a healthy body. Stress, adrenaline destroys vitamins B, C, and zinc. And also when our adrenal glands release adrenaline, they also release a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is very, very toxic. And the more cortisol we have built up in our body, the sicker we can get. So really important to be aware of that. Toxins, anything the body cannot use to rebuild cells are considered toxins. So refined sugar, white flour, caffeine, alcohol, those can be all considered toxins because our body can't use them to rebuild cells. So what's the relationship between these 3 factors and depression? Let's talk a little bit about that. When stress goes up, vitamin Bs go down and cravings go up, and it's a vicious cycle. The cycle leads to increased stress and depression, and 75%, listen to this, 75% of all antidepressant drugs are prescribed to women. Now, it could be that if we simply supplement more with really good whole food vitamin B that's truly bioavailable, we're going to feel so much better, and we won't have to go to prescription drugs that have side effects. Instead, we get side benefits. So what are the ABCs of good supplementation? All right, here's some questions to ask of the company whose supplements you take. Is the supplement or vitamin that we are using being absorbed and assimilated? Is it truly bioavailable, or is it going right through our body? How can we tell? Is there a balance in the formulation? In other words, is there enough biotin in the vitamin B and not just the cheap Bs that most supplement companies fill their vitamins with? Is the manufacturer using a cooling system to preserve the nutrients, or are they processed with heat and chemicals? If they are, those nutrients are not bioavailable, they're not active, and they're not going to do you any good. Are fillers like coal tar, petroleum byproducts, are they used in stabilizing the tablet? And is there a full money-back guarantee? Really good questions. Of course, with Shaklee, the good news is all of those we can answer positively. Our supplements are 100% bioavailable. There's the perfect balance in each formulation. We use only a cooling system to preserve the nutrients. There are no artificial fillers at all to stabilize. And there is a full money-back guarantee, which I love. That means you can try any Shaklee product for up to 30 days. See for yourself. Try it with your own body. See how it works for you. And if you're not happy, you can send the container back. And that container can be empty, and you can get your money back. So again, it's kind of a no-brainer. So what do I recommend? A good common sense supplement program. Certainly the Life Strip. If you're really looking for the best supplementation you can get, I highly recommend the Life Strip. Vitalizer is very good, or just the Vitally if you're looking for a lower price point and you need to start with the basics. Of course, a Life Shake at least once a day, full of nutrients, full of 1 billion units of probiotics and a ton of omega-3s. Additional B complex, because stress does zap our vitamin B complex. Calcium and magnesium to help us relax. And there are some other things to consider. Stress Relief Complex is a wonderful supplement that Shaklee offers that's made with ashwagandha and boswellia. And this actually not only takes the edge off our stress, it helps us improve our mood, helps us cope a little bit better, and here's the real important thing about Stress Relief Complex, it actually helps our body release the cortisol that's been built up over time. So it's a great, great product to have in stock and just keep around for the days when you really need it. Optiflora is a wonderful probiotic if you're not taking Life Shakes. It's an acidophilus and bifidus combination, and it's guaranteed to survive through the stomach acid so that all those good enzymes are alive when they get down to your intestines where you really need it. Unlike the probiotics that are in yogurt, which are all killed in the stomach with stomach acid, and they're totally dead and useless by the time they need to get to our intestines where we really need them. Core Energy is a wonderful ginseng product that a lot of people swear by to help increase their energy. So if your energy is low, you may want to consider that. But to be honest, I find often that when people start with the basic core nutrition program, a Life Shake and a Life Strip, or a Vitalizer and Life Shake, or even the Vitali Multi and Life Shake, plus some vitamin Bs, a lot of times their energy just soars through the roof and they don't need the core energy. So I always recommend starting with a core nutrition program and then adding as needed. So here's what the Journal of the AMA, the American Medical Association, says: in the coming decades, the most important determinants of health and longevity will be the personal choices made by each individual. These are our choices, and guys, we are worth it. So I highly recommend that you talk to your coach and get connected with any of the products that you'd like to try to see if it can help you manage your stress better, feel better. Certainly, if it will help in your goal to shed pounds of fat, lose inches, lose that inflammation, I think you're going to absolutely love how you feel. All right, I know that was a lot of information, but if you need to listen to it again or watch again to fill in your notes, feel free to do that. This webinar will be right up on the Facebook page saved for you. I want to thank you for your time and hope that you enjoy the journey. Bye for now. See you next week.